Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into complex stories, drawing out the strategy, the stakes, and, well, the human element behind it all.
That's right. And today we're diving into Turning Silicon into Gold, Michael Ho's memoir.
Specifically, the very beginning of NPKB Inc. We're talking early 90s Silicon Valley, high-tech, high-pressure.
Exactly. We're focusing on the intense, emotional and strategic phase right before launch. Think early 1990s chip design.
Our goal here, to track how one event, getting a pink slip, turns a successful engineer, Lucas, into, well, a driven founder.
And not just that, but the really specific kind of secret steps he took to check if his risky idea could even work before putting any real money down.
It's a story about innovation, sure, but maybe even more about control. So let's set the scene. June 1993, Cupertino, California, Apple Computer.
Yeah, things were messy at Apple then. Scully was heading out as CEO, Spindler was coming in.
And the stock, it was tanking, down like 19% in just 1 week. That kind of instability, it leads to big changes, layoffs.
Precisely. Big corporate restructuring. And it hit everyone, even top talent. So Lucas, he's an advanced staff engineer, sitting at his desk.
And he's not just any engineer. He's one of Apple's top 2 experts in modem digital signal processing, right? DSP.
Absolutely. For anyone less familiar, DSP is the really heavy lifting, the complex math that lets a modem turn digital computer data into, those screechy analog phone line sounds.
And vice versa. It's specialized stuff, high level.
Very. But despite all that expertise, he gets the pink slip.
Wow, that must have hit hard. The book says his first reaction was just shock, humiliation, and then pretty quickly terror.
Yeah, terror. He wasn't fresh out of college. He had a mortgage, family bills, a secure, high-status job 1 minute.
And the next, his whole financial world is hanging by a thread, decided by some executive he's probably never even met.
And that feeling, that terror, that's the spark. Michael Ho points out Lucas had this sudden realization in a big company. His very specific, valuable skills were always vulnerable. Politics, budgets.
So why not just get another similar job?
Well, his expertise was so niche. Jumping companies might just mean trading one set of corporate politics for another. He'd still be dependent. And that's when it clicks for him. This painful clarity. Entrepreneurship is the only way to solve this dilemma. He had to take control himself.
So the motivation is there, control, but he needs a plan and income. So he makes a smart move, right? A strategic retreat.
A very smart move. He takes a temporary consulting gig at a company called Silicon Hills.
Okay, so that gives him some breathing room financially. But there was more to it.
Oh, yeah. It was also reconnaissance. Silicon Hills served the Wintel market, IBM PCs and compatibles using Windows.
Right. Much bigger than Apple's market share back then.
Exactly. Lucas came from the Apple world. If his big idea was going to fly, it needed to work in the massive Wintel ecosystem. This consulting job gave him an inside look.
Okay, so let's talk about that big idea. It came from something he worked on at Apple, Geoport.
That's the one. It was, pretty radical for the time. The goal was ultimate cost saving. Instead of using expensive, dedicated DSP chips, the specialized hardware that did all the modem's heavy lifting, Lucas proposed shifting all that work
onto the PC's main processor, the CPU.
You got it. Make the modem hardware incredibly simple, incredibly cheap. Essentially, turn the modem into software.
Sounds brilliant. Less hardware, lower cost. But there had to be a catch.
There was a huge catch. He'd run some early tests, and this software modem approach, it absolutely hammered the CPU.
How bad was it?
It used up 75% of a standard 486 PC's processing power.
75%. Wow. Okay, so what does that mean for the user?
It means your computer basically grinds to a halt. You try to use your modem, and suddenly you can barely do anything else. Forget running Excel or any other demanding program.
So the cost savings are pointless if the computer becomes unusable.
Yeah.
At 75% load, the idea is dead in the water.
Pretty much. This is the enormous gamble Lucas is facing. He's basically betting everything, career, money, reputation on Moore's Law.
That the processors will just keep getting faster, like clockwork.
Right. He's designing for a future computer, betting that faster CPUs will eventually make that 75% load shrink down to something manageable, something users won't hate.
That takes guts. Designing for hardware that doesn't even exist yet.
Definitely. And it's too big a bet to make alone. Lucas knew his weaknesses. He called himself a lone wolf, not strong on management or business stuff.
So he needed partners. He starts recruiting.
but carefully.
Very carefully. A sort of dual-track strategy. He reaches out to his inner circle, people he trusts.
First up is Alex, university classmate.
Yeah, Alex. He was a director at Silicon Hills, the company Lucas was consulting for. So that connection reinforces the pivot to Wintel.
And Alex brought what to the table? Engineering skills.
Solid engineering, yes. But crucially, Alex also had great communication skills, fluent English. Lucas knew that would be vital down the road, especially for international business.
Okay, so Alex is ally number one, technical anchor, Wintel Bridge. Then comes Kyler.
Another classmate. But Kyler brings something different. Prior startup experience, he'd founded a company called Contact. So he's been through the startup ringer before. That sounds valuable.
It was. But Kyler also had, let's say, strong motivations of his own. Very different from Lucas's focus on technical control.
How so? What drove Kyler?
Vindication, mostly. And power. Apparently he'd been financially squeezed out by his partner at Contact. He felt marginalized.
Ooh, okay, so he wasn't just looking for in the project, he was looking for redemption.
Yeah.
And control.
Exactly. He wanted to be in charge this time, make the calls, get the rewards he felt he deserved before.
And that created tension right away, doesn't it? The book mentions Kyler immediately says he wants to be president and CEO.
Yep. Straight out of the gate. I'm the president CEO.
How did Lucas handle that? He's the tech visionary here.
Lucas was pragmatic. His focus was the technology. He agreed, but insisted on equal compensation and equity, at least initially.
Smart. Keep things level at the start.
Right. And he kept the door open, thinking maybe they'd bring in a more seasoned professional CEO later on. But it definitely signals the different priorities, the potential for conflict.
And Lucas plays this carefully, right? He keeps Alex and Kyler separate during these early talks.
He does. It's quite strategic. By keeping them apart, he controls the flow of information. He's the hub, holding the core technical concept. It maintains his leverage.
Leverage he needs, because it's that 75% CPU usage problem. It's still hanging over everything.
Absolutely. The whole venture hinges on faster processors becoming reality. By late 1993, there are rumors about this powerful new chip, the Pentium, the 586.
But rumors aren't proof. Lucas needs hard data before he can truly commit, before he can convince Alex and Kyler this isn't just a dream.
And this leads to maybe the most critical moment in the entire planning phase, the moment he had to get that proof.
The computer store experiment.
Exactly. It's Christmas time, 1993. Pentium PCs are finally appearing in stores, but they're expensive, like $4,800 expensive.
Which Lucas definitely can't afford just to run a test.
No way. So what does he do? He takes his entire software modem simulation, the secret sauce of NPKB, puts it on a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Oh man, a floppy?
Yeah. And he walks into a local computer store, spots the shiny, expensive Pentium display model, and somehow, he talks the clerk into letting him run his untested software on it.
That's bold. What if it crashed the machine?
Huge risk. The tension must have been incredible. He loads the disk, runs the simulation.
What happened to the CPU load?
It dropped instantly. From that terrifying 75% down to around 60%, maybe even a bit less.
Wow. So the Pentium delivered. That single test. It proved the whole concept was viable.
It proved the architecture worked on next-gen hardware. It meant that targeting faster chips could actually produce a modem that was both super cheap and didn't cripple your computer. The gamble paid off.
The book calls this moment Lucas gaining a martial arts secret manual. Why that specific phrase?
Because it wasn't just confirmation, it was proprietary knowledge. He now had hard data, the precise CPU usage numbers on the brand new Pentium that nobody else in the world had. Verified performance secrets.
That's powerful. So this gives him absolute confidence in the tech.
Yes, total technical confidence. But also, critically, it gave him immense power over his co-founders. He knew something they didn't, the key piece of data.
And he decides to keep that specific data secret.
He does. He believes knowledge is power. His indispensability as the tech guru, the keeper of this secret data, would protect his position, ensure he couldn't be sidelined.
Interesting. A strategic choice born from that initial feeling of powerlessness at Apple.
Absolutely. And with that secret knowledge, that validation, the decision is made. He's 100% committed.
So the pieces are in place. April 1994. Lucas, Alex, and Kyler officially register NPKB Inc.
Right.
They even raise $500,000 in seed money.
Yep. And they make a huge personal commitment, too. They slash their own salaries by more than half compared to their corporate jobs. They're betting everything on this tech.
Driven by different things, though. Lucas by the tech, by control over his work. Kyler by the desire for executive power, for that vindication.
Totally different but equally intense motivations, which sets up a really fascinating dynamic, doesn't it?
It really does. And it leaves us, and you listening, with a big question. Can this actually work? A company built on brilliant but secret technical knowledge.
Especially when the founders have such different goals, different styles. Lucas, the secretive tech genius, Kyler, the ambitious executive. Can that foundation hold?
We've seen the shock of the layoff, the strategic retreat, the secret validation, and the forming of this core, slightly volatile team.
That's the planning stage wrapped up. Next time we get into the establishment phase, we'll see the team really come together, define their strategy, their vision.
And we'll see how those conflicts simmering just below the surface between Lucas and Kyler especially start to really bubble up as they look for that crucial fourth leg to stabilize the company. Join us then.